G'day viewers, we've tried to get out this week to do a Foxin Friday clip, but we just haven't had a chance. So what we thought we would do is do a clip on the kind of rifles and thermal scopes we use. We'll call this a tech clip, and this is the first of a couple of tech clips that we'll put out on the different thermal equipment we use and the different rifles we use. Thanks very much for all the support for the channel so far. Please like, subscribe, share and comment, and I'm sure I'll get a few comments out of this clip because it's all about our rifles and our thermal scopes. Love to hear what you're using and what works for you. So let's start out with the first rifle. This is our 204. It's a Tikka T3 normal barrel. The normal barrels on the Tikkas are actually quite a heavy profile anyway. They're not a really light profile, so they're kind of halfway between a heavy barrel and a normal profile. So factory Tikka T3X in 204. What I did was I got rid of the stock and I put a GRS stock on it. I must say that I really like this stock. It has improved accuracy, and it's actually improved the feel of the rifle quite substantially. It's adjustable for length of pull. It's got a limb saver recoil pad on it. Not that you need that for the 204. I mean, there's just no recoil at all. It makes the rifle a bit more heavier as well, a bit more stable and sturdy compared to the factory stock. It's got an adjustable cheek piece, so that whole back end is fully adjustable, which is great. Safety is easy to use. Trigger is adjustable, however I haven't even touched it from the factory settings. I actually don't have a problem with that. The only issue with the Tikka is that it's quite noisy. The bolt's fairly noisy. Let's work the bolt and I'll show you. So if you've got a fox coming towards you or close, it's coming to the whistle and you haven't already chambered around and you've got to quickly chamber around, it's too noisy, and that's why I like to put a round in the chamber, leave the bolt up, and then just quietly close the bolt just before I'm going to shoot. That's the way I get around the noise. I'll leave the bolt open for now. Picatinny rail. I've got a long Picatinny rail on that, on those dovetails. And bipod. We use a Harris bipod. That's a 9 to 13 inch model. What I do, however, is I actually have a swivel mount for the bipod, and I'll show you how that works. So all you do is you're tracking a fox, you basically undo the swivel, and you can swivel the rifle and it feels like it's on ball bearings. It's really smooth, and you can track a fox without constantly having to do this, pick the rifle up, move it around and chase the fox. So that's been a really good investment. I do have a Butler, I like this Butler Creek sling. It's got a bit of give in it, it's got a bit of yield in it, so that's a good sling. I'm really happy with that one. As I said, the barrel is not too heavy, not too light, and this rifle's probably put about, I would think, about 2,500 to 2,500 shots through the barrel, and we haven't lost accuracy yet, which is really good. I find with the 204, you need to clean it at least once every 30 rounds or so to maintain accuracy. I find if you let it go for a bit more than that, or much more than that, you start to lose a bit of accuracy. Magazines. So the rifle came with a factory 3-shot mag. That's really good for normal use, although sometimes the 3 shots are a bit limiting, especially when there's a few foxes around and you don't want to keep reloading the magazine all the time. So what I did was I bought a 10-shot Lucky 13 mag, clips in, and it's got 10 shots, and basically that'll keep me going for a long time. If I've got a lot of foxes coming into the whistle or around lambs or calves, I can actually put out 10 shots without having to restack the mag. What I do really use the 3-shot for is when I'm on the I've got a tripod as well. I might do another clip on the tripod that I've got. If I'm in country where I can't lie down and I can't use the bipod, I'll quite often use a tripod, and that gets me high off the ground. I can get more shots than if I just use the bipod. So that means I can actually clamp the tripod right there, right where the magazine fits, and the magazine's flush underneath, and that means I can take the shots with this rifle. Obviously with the 10 shot, sticks out too far. Okay, telescopic sight. So this is a Pulsar, let me get this right, XQ50 Thermion 2 LRF Pro. So it's got the laser rangefinder. To flick the scope on, you press the button up here, that's the on off. It's got the typical Pulsar setup in terms of the battery. This is where I've got a large battery pack, a large battery over the smaller battery that came with the scope. I bought a larger, more high capacity battery. Got a battery in there as well somewhere. Down the back end here, you have your focus, you have your LRF control, you have your zoom control, and you have your record. So as I'm shooting, I'm fiddling around with these buttons at the back here, and they're quite easy to manipulate at night, especially if I've got my gloves on, because it does get cold at night. Charging port is on the side here. That's a USB-C. And as I said, the on-off button's up here. It's on the Picatinny rail, so I've got some QD mounts holding it on the Picatinny. This one is it's got its objective focus up this end here. So that little knob there, and there's replicated on the other side, that's actually a focus. So if a fox is walking towards me or running towards me, coming to the caller or the whistle, I'm quite often focusing, and you'll see that in our film clips. You'll see me focus. That's also very easy to grab at night when it's dark. The LRF is a really good thing for fox shooting. What I find is that it's not quite so good on flat ground. That's why I get high up on dam banks, and that's why we need to get the height above the terrain. On flat terrain, it's sometimes you can't get a ping back, so you can't tell the range of the fox. I mean, we know from experience kind of how far the fox is to within a couple of yards, or 50 yards, 20 to 50 yards. But this one takes the guesswork out of everything, so it's really it's a good thing. In fact, I wouldn't buy a thermal without an LRF. The other good thing about this scope is the, let me get this right, I usually do it from the other side. I'm usually doing it in the heat of battle. The cover for the objective lens. That one is good because it holds itself back. The other Pulsar one that I'll show you in a minute on the 223, it actually flips around in the breeze, which is a bit of a pain. But that one actually holds itself out of the way. So once it's open, it's open. Quite often at night, especially when there's a bit of dew around, we have that closed, and it's very easy to clip open, very quiet, to clip open and to hold open. Haven't had a problem with this Pulsar. It holds zero really well, really crisp, really clear. It's an XQ50. I know it's not the top of the range, but guess what? It actually fits my budget, and it does the job I need it to do. So as you've seen through the clips, and they're not the clips that I see through the scope. The clips I see through the scope are a lot better image quality, but it's plenty fine for foxes out to 400 to 500 yards even. Definitely within the common shooting range, and what this caliber is really good for, out to 300 to 350. I think the longest fox I've shot with this gear is at about 400, which is a pretty good shot. Okay, next rifle that we commonly use at night is the 223. This one is a CZ600 223, 1-in-7 barrel twist. I bought this about a year and a half ago when they first came out, and I have a soft spot for CZ, so I've always had a CZ Model 2 rimfire or a CZ 455, and I really have a soft spot for them. I do have also a CZ 527-17 Hornet, and I'll do another film clip on that one at another time. Let's start with the stock, and if anyone from CZ's watching, I would like you to change that stock over, because that stock is not great. It's serviceable. It's okay, but it's just okay. I'd love to see more of a beefier stock to match the barrel profile. Let's go up there and have a look at the barrel. It's about a 24-inch barrel, heavy profile, threaded on the end with a cap. In Australia, I haven't got a silencer, obviously, so I can't use that. But anyway, it's there. Heavy barrel profile. So I really love that barrel. It's actually perfect. It's not too heavy, it's not too light. It's a little bit more heavier than the Tikka that I've showed you with the 204. I think that's perfect. It's got like a Cerakote finish on it, so it's resistant to the elements. The other thing I really like about this is the safety. So the safety is back here, easily adjustable. When you're down on the ground and you're letting a fox come in and you've got one in the chamber and you want to keep the safety on or quietly flick it off, it's really simple to do. The bolt system on this rifle is incredible. It's very quiet, which is what I like with fox shooting. I like to have a quiet bolt. It's like butter, honestly. That's probably one of the better bolts that I've ever used before on any rifle. So CZ, you've done really well with the bolt. If you've got a fox coming up and it's relatively close and you need to quietly chamber around, I'll let you hear what it sounds like. You won't be able to hear anything, or you won't be able to hear much at all. So I've had foxes come right in, I've had to quickly chamber around, and they haven't heard me from, say, 50 yards away down to 20 yards away, and I've been able to score the fox. So really impressed with that bolt. The other thing that I'm really impressed with is this five shot magazine system, staggered magazine, and it's great. It clips in really positively. It can lock in. There's a little locking catch underneath, but essentially I haven't had a misfeed at all with that that magazine. Great magazine. You can actually, I'll do it for you if you like. Actually, you don't have to load it from the magazine top with the magazine out of the rifle. I can actually just load it through the chamber as well. So really impressed with the bolt, really impressed with the magazine system, not impressed with the stock, very impressed with the trigger. It's got an adjustable trigger. As I said, again, I have not touched it from the factory setting. I haven't had to. Beautiful crisp trigger. Feels like you're breaking a very thin wine glass when you use the trigger. Haven't had to touch it from its factory setting, but it can go a lot lighter than its factory setting. I just don't need to. It's so good. So recap again: bolt great, magazine great, feed great, trigger great, barrel great, stock not so great. Use this rifle off the tripod quite a bit, but also with the bipod, and again, same as the 204. I've set it up with a swivel mount for the bipod, so the bipod attaches to the swivel and you can just quickly adjust the swivel and it feels like you're swiveling the rifle on rails. You can just chase that fox as it moves. Quite often fox will come in and move sideways, and if that's the case, you can just follow that fox without picking the rifle up and constantly having to move the rifle to chase the fox. So CZ 600, I guess overall thumbs up. Mr. CZ, change that stock, you've got a world beater in my opinion. Okay, on top of the CZ 600 223, we have the Thermion, Pulsar Thermion 1 scope. Great scope, XQ50 again. I guess the resolution's a little bit less than the Pro models. The one good thing about this scope is that it's a 14 power, so it's 7/14 power. and so you can get some really good magnification out of this for longer range. Again, I haven't basically set and forget. You can sight this scope in and it won't move off zero. The CZ600's got integral Picatinny rails, so you just need your QD mounts on top, to our 30mm mounts for this scope. Normal Pulsar operating mechanism down the back end. It's common to all the Pulsar scopes. Again, I've got a larger capacity battery in the top, internal battery as well. Really don't ever run out of battery power on long nights, and we go out sometimes for 5, 6, 7 hours a night. Things that I don't like about this scope: the focus is different. So that whole rubber armored section is a focus, so you can swing that around. That's a bit of a problem because it's quite stiff, and what I generally set it to is at about 150 yards, because that's the average shot with a 223. And really, then you just have to move it slightly one way or the other to keep focus if the fox is longer or shorter. The lens cap, it's okay, sits there nicely, but when you open it, it doesn't, there's nothing holding it back. So if you've got a bit of wind around, if say you've got some wind coming from the side, sometimes you'll be tracking a fox and all of a sudden the cap will close off. So sometimes I actually have to hold it open, which is a bit of a pain when you're trying to track a fox and shoot a fox. So that's about the only problem I've got with it. The focus is a bit stiff. The lens cap, the objective cap, is a bit average in terms of its design. But overall, the positives are Pulsar quality. Have never had a problem with it. Extremely good in terms of holding zero. And ease of use, large capacity battery. It's a Thermion one, so technology moves so fast nowadays. I think we're up to the Pro models, the Thermion 2 Pros, and they are considerably better quality in terms of image. But this is still very good, very serviceable, easy to shoot foxes out to 200, 250 yards with this thing, and even further. I've shot them out a lot further than that. So the 14 power zoom is a very high zoom actually. Nowadays, I think a lot of the thermals, in particular the larger or the better, I guess the better processors, have got a lower native magnification, and this native is about 7, so the double of that is the 14. So if you can have a look at the, actually it's 3.5 up to 7 up to 14. So quite often our picture-in-picture's on 14, but our base magnification's on 3.5, and you'll see that in the clips. Overall, can't fault it really, apart from those couple of small items. It's been a great scope, and happy to keep it, and happy to keep it on this this CZ600 223, because it's really well suited to the 223. It's missing the LRF too, which when I bought it there were no LRFs around. Now there's LRFs, and I would not buy a thermal scope without buying an LRF. So guys, that's our thermal hunting gear in terms of rifles and scopes. I will do another one about the 17 Hornet and also our Day 204 as well. But essentially, they're the rifles and scopes we use for most of our work at night. Please, if you've got any questions, feel free to comment and ask the questions. Feel free to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your support for the channel so far.